Ooh, mama. Oh my god. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up? Main Bane? What's up? Bro, how's everybody doing? Uh, bro, I want to do goat yoga now. I'm watching Dean Thomas and Matt Serra do goat yoga. Dude, it's legit what it sounds like. You just do yoga with a bunch of goats around you. Dude, that'd be lit, bro. That'd be lit. Dude, I want goats. I want goats just to have. That'd be so cute, hilarious. What's up, Mean Bean? Dude, do I know Mean Bean? Do I know Mean Bean? I think I do. It's Charlie! Oh, this is sick. Alright, let's get a W. Let's get a W while everybody's on here. Trios matchmaking. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Main Bane. Dude, goat yoga is where the goats are on your back while you're doing yoga.
Hey, let's go already.
Some goat yoga. Dude, this looks lit.
Believe me. Someone wants to challenge us. Ottimo, I've been dying to take the gloves off.
There's two of them. There's two of them on his back. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. I wish you could see the second screen, but you can't. Alright, first game. Everybody in the chat, or everybody in the party. Exploding Toast, Hothead. Go check out the stream, hannerhobby.com. YouTube, you know. I'm streaming on YouTube. Bro, I guarantee he joins. I guarantee he joins.
Alright, hope you're ready.
Just type
Let's
that
do
name
this,
in,
brothers.
Hanner Hobby, on YouTube, and you'll find it. It feels so much easier to say, hey bro, go join the stream now than ever. It says, you've just been doing it for a while, you know? You don't even care anymore. Before I used to get all self-conscious and shit. This person thinks I'm streaming. I'm scared. You know, fuck it. I didn't get any ammo. Oh shoot, I hear mad people.
Round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
Accidenti. I need to find more ammo. I'm almost out.
Alright,
I'm gonna have to move at my speed to make the next ring.
Attention. First
Shotgun bolt here. Level 1.
First fatality.
alright, so I got a little double jump, which isn't bad. And I also got
Dropping a tracker.
a tracker. I don't understand what this fucking tracker does. Look at how far you can send it too.
It's far. I mean,
Like that's
I'm still going.
far, bro. That's far. That's far.
Weapons enhanced.
Alright, let's get
Evo
that.
Setting a
officers
tracker.
are now available.
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that.
There's a new kill leader.
How's everything with you, bro? Mr. Bean. You coolin'? This is a classic game, man. Classic ass game.
Found the survey beacon here. Andiamo. Get in the ring. Roll outside.
Andiamo. Okay, okay. Oh shoot. No, he got capped! My boy! My boy! My boy! Oh my god, get this guy out of here! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Champion eliminated.
Bullseye. Killed the champion.
Come here!
Don't worry, my brother. I got you.
Oh hell no, Javi. Come on, Javi.
Package being
Where's your aim at today there?
Sergeant Shields. Come on, come on.
Recharging my shield. Cover me.
I'm getting shot.
Oh lordy.
I broke an opponent's shield.
Oh lordy.
A tra poco. Tracking an enemy. Let the ambush begin.
What the frick? What the freak?
Shield is broken.
Give me my shield.
Oh my god. Let me finish it. Yes! Let's go! Let's go! It sucks to be that person. And I got my shield. Yeah!
Leveled up. Time to customize.
Oh man, that guy's just at the wrong place, wrong time.
Frag out.
Healing.
Oh, wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time.
Target spotted.
Mr. Bean, you got some big news coming up. I hope you've been doing good.
Setting a tracker.
I'm like lost.
Ah, I need to heal. I'm vulnerable like this. Physically, not emotionally. Tracker out and scanning for enemies.
Give me my shield.
Okay, so I got a tracker that can do what? Just scan for enemies? That's legit it? Got 3 of them? Doesn't really do shit.
Hold on. Crafting.
It's like the most underutilized thing. Or like the most... Like, who's gonna use that
I
tracker
should
thing?
heal.
I'm
in bad
certainly
shape.
not.
Un momento. Gotta heal.
Oh, goats are so cute. Dude, that double jump doesn't do shit. Okay, wait. So I want to get up this. It's pretty cool. What's my
I
passive?
need light ammo. Half the squads are out.
Nice. Weapons in hand.
Gotta heal. Taking a knee.
Huh. Got to choose an upgrade. An opponent drop near me?
Contact with hostile.
This is gonna be good. Second scanning.
Firing. Enemy shield.
Got him!
Reloading.
Took out an tracker out.
Oh. Nothing much, bro. Nothing much. Hope you're doing good.
Got to choose an upgrade.
Training's been going great.
Round 2. Beginning ring countdown.
Pick it up. Next ring's far.
Replicator being delivered.
So
Hey, replicator.
this person can use the bow check. The bow check.
I'm looking at an opponent here. Setting a tracker. Now that is how you upgrade.
Where's the opponents, bro? Where's the people you got a cap, huh? Where they at?
It's a long way to the ring.
Faster, faster, faster! We've got 45 seconds. If you don't got robotic legs, you need to move.
Almost like back control. There's how we got slipped, but I grabbed back control with my headband.
Ten till ring closes. Hitting the...
Warning. Movement in progress.
Ring's moving, brothers. Keep the hustle.
Faster, faster, faster!
Care package being delivered.
Care package. Sweet.
Attention. The kill leader has been...
They're shooting at me. I'm down, but nobody look. Opponent here, guns up. Watch out, enemy here. Hey, got the target here.
Can't believe I'm standing still. You're
Not
lucky I
good.
like you.
I'm recharging my shields.
Firing. Up
to let this sting. I should heal. I'm in bad shape.
Nailed that whole squad.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I gotta die. I gotta die. Yep. That's what I thought. That's what happens.
Healing up. Give me a sec.
Beginning ring countdown.
Taking fire, brothers.
Loot bins have been restocked.
Loot bins have been restocked. What? What the shit? I'm gonna die. No!
Healing up. Give me a sec. Ring closes in a minute. Got a banner in hand.
I didn't even know my man had the show. Which last one.
Healing up. Give me a sec. We're close. 30 seconds. Deploying C-spawn beacon.
And them. Come on.
Ring's close. Gotta heal. Take the lead. Recharging shields.
And the ring is moving. And
Bro, what? I have my inventory still? It's crazy.
Ooh, new supplies dropping. I could use more stuff.
So choose it. Number one. Some of the reimbursements are going to fun fights, but not all together. And say this all the time.
Giving my shields a recharge.
31-year-old. Say yes. Playing out the game, hanging out with a speed. Move it over. Say, pay attention to yourself. You know what's going
Beginning ring countdown. Replicator being delivered.
Yo, replicators coming in for a landing.
Helmet here.
Well, I'm looking at great.
1 minute till ring close.
Knockdown shield here. Level 3. Backpack here. Level 3. Got a hope up here. Gun shield generator.
I'll tell you, it's impressive. You know, usually
45 seconds till ring close, amigos. Don't make me carry you.
Thank you.
2 years. How do you serve in the Korean Army?
I think someone's already been.
Over there.
Never mind.
Let's get on that.
I'm gonna keep my eye on this zone. Certo.
Rings around the corner and we've got 30 seconds.
Enemy here. Maybe I should introduce myself.
So, the welcome door shop stands up in the press conference and he tells me
10 till ring closes.
He asked me in the moment. I said, you know what? Come on up and hold up on stage. I think they gave me a shot. They gave me a shot on the show. They gave him a really tough guy by the name of Mateus.
Contact with target. They'll never shoot through these.
He's the one who set this up. So all the press.
Tracker in place.
To see what that was all good in the fight.
Guarda, enemy tracked.
Care package over there. Yo!
Enemy shield. Got an enemy. Who's next? Moving. Got a heal.
Oh my god, no!
Got a target here.
Cracked an enemy shield.
Come
Reloading.
on, go here.
Calling the airstrike.
Time to move this way.
I'm down.
Beginning ring
Healing.
countdown.
Time to move this way. Firing Stinger. I'm recharging my shields. I need to recharge my shields. They're too low. Tracker dart. Out. Take your time. The ring is close, and there's a whole minute to play.
Charging shields. Come on, come on.
I'm recharging my shields.
Give me my shield to recharge.
I need shields.
Even though Mateo's got taken down in the fight,
Ring, frag out. Frag out.
Go faster.
Taking fire, brothers.
Put down an opponent.
Contact with target.
Reloading.
Enemy here.
Heads up. Check out this way.
It's okay. I don't think anyone saw.
No! No! No!
I'm down.
10 seconds until the ring closes.
Shield up. Healing up. Give me a sec.
Reloading. Shooting at me. Bullseye. Killed an opponent. Tracker in place. Setting a tracker.
Taking fire, brothers. Enemy shield cracked.
Let's fucking go! I told you. Did I not tell you we're gonna win? I told you we're gonna win. You gotta go subscribe now.
By the Apex champions.
Dude, I forgot how good Gibraltar was, bro. My god, nobody uses him anymore. That shield was meant.
get the shit out of that thing. And don't go to the fucking ground. You see how it looked out there? It was the outside, oh. See how it looked out there? It was the outside, oh. The Russian kid's too one-dimensional. He gets fucking murdered. Maybe I'll say. James Camillo came out there. Well, my man. Just fucking me your body. Come on. They're not gonna fucking text. You learn with that. It's really it's very good wrestling. So I mean, you gotta fight this guy off. That's not interesting. See what there's. Again, trying this. Yeah, against his feeling on the ground, they got taken down. He got about much. Oh my god. There we go. There we go. And he go and kick that. He didn't do one fucking thing this whole round. Russian finish the thing. And then he got it. Good job, bro. Good job. You know what? Good job, bro. Fucking great job. Good stays. I told him the next thing. Well, rocking there. Get out of that. One leg. I think the other kid won the fight for too. And he definitely did the most damage. The damage for sure. I don't think Roll was even good guys. I don't think he did shit. Take down the fence and the ability to get back up to his feet. Mateus started to have his effect on knocked off. He was exhausted. And going to one Mateus, but that was definitely not the case.
put these?
Yeah, I'll put them on your head. Absolutely.
Let me see. Oh, yes, it's two.
And then more low.
Enough.
Are you going to bed?
Yeah,
No.
I'm just very tired.
Yeah. It's 9:52 as well.
Our baseball building, right here. Boston don't say Boston. Well, it's a lot of beer America. I mean, what is it not even drink a room like that? I got to do it. We don't have to stare at my senses, man. So I'm not. That's the biggest thing in the game. It's so up in the corner. Even if the circumstances don't work. I mean, here, so this is the first time in the history of doing this show. Let's start off with our customer. No, I just want to do Balenciaga has made some of the craziest sneakers I've ever seen, but their newest sneaker has officially crossed the line. So Balenciaga sneakers have always been popular. You see, even during like 2015 when the sock shoes came out, everybody thought these were ugly and they were crazy, but people wore them, right? The influencers wore the little sock shoes. Then came the Balenciaga Triple S. People thought these were insane. Yo, what the? These $10 shorts from Fab. UFC contract. Yeah, right. So, when you get to you want it to be the UFC like Dana told him he's in the UFC. I was so happy. It actually almost brought tears to my eyes. Serving in the military for 3 years, being 31 years old. You show the Korean talent out there. Successful.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Mitchell McCarthy. Mitchell McCarthy. There it goes. This one's for Mitchell, everybody.
This game takes place in the USA in the year 2014. It's the most Isaac struck tournament.
I'm here. And I go to emotional weight. The terrible news. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Wilma. Steering wheel, up, down, in, or out. Again, you see the steering wheel right here. You can turn it on, turn it off. This right here is your blinkers and your windshield wipers. So blinker. On the earlier Aston Martins.
Oh, well, back in 2019, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal was all the rage, right? Knocks out Darren Till, fastest knockout in UFC history against Ben Askren, the BMF title against Nate Diaz. But then he ran into some champions, and now he gets back on the horse here tonight.
Well, he's fighting the best of the best, and that is what you do when you win those types of fights. You push yourself into big moments. But tonight he has to use his skills. He's got to use his ability to defend takedowns, make this fight a stand-up affair. When you talk about a guy that wants to fight, you're talking about Gamebred Masvidal, a guy that spent time fighting bare knuckle, fighting in the backyard before he became a mixed martial artist. So this guy's a fighter. Let's see if he can make this fight take place where he needs it to in order to get a victory.
Right, Tyron Woodley famously said years ago, Jorge Masvidal is the best pure boxer in the UFC. Got to get those hands going here tonight. All right, so we get another look and title defense for the UFC's undisputed welterweight champion, and he's chasing greatness, right? He wants to be mentioned alongside Georges St. Pierre. Kamaru Usman is one of the greatest welterweight champions. To keep that dream alive, gotta hold serve as the favorite tonight.
For him, it was about getting there. And once he got there, Johnny started thinking bigger. How do I build my resume? How do I build the legacy? How do I do enough to be remembered? It's all about legacy for this guy. It's fight by fight. Every time you speak to him, he talks in historical terms. He's just a tremendous champion.
Well, and some people were suggesting this week that he move up a division and chase double champ status. He is focused on the task at hand. We'll see if he can handle it with flying colors tonight. Well, so much UFC history has played out here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Plenty more where that came from tonight. The athletes are ready to go. And now our tail of the tape for this welterweight championship fight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Undisputed UFC welterweight champion. Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, presenting the challenger, Jorge and now, introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world,
Herb Dean, our third man in the octagon for this one. Are ready to go round one, and flying knee to the head. Ooh, looking to go to the leg kick here, just out of range. Oh, another huge knee. Good work getting in the way of that knee.
Nice shot, lands downstairs.
Oh, blood dripping now from the lip.
Oh, the kick.
Well, for years, Tyron Woodley had said Jorge Masvidal is the best boxer on this UFC roster. Certainly showed you the hands there.
I mean, he's showing it, man. I mean, he's showing it, John. This guy has an ability to stand and box with anyone in the UFC, and that was on full display when he beat Nate Diaz.
Nice combination there by Masvidal, a guy who many believe has the best boxer in the UFC.
He's got amazing hands. Jorge Masvidal throws that right hand so well. Not only the right hand, he's got a great jab.
Well, he's had his striking on point tonight, and as evidence, some swelling now on his opponent.
Yeah, light swelling right now, but if he doesn't address it immediately, it'll turn to something much worse.
Fast pace here in the early going.
Game of inches right there. It was good night if that landed.
Masvidal gets caught by that straight punch. Can't take too many more of those. Lands a nice straight. Closes the gap and gets the single collar tie now. Man, that's a stinging jab. You can tell he's been boxing his whole life.
Yeah, and I mean, it's popping over and over. He's throwing it, and he's a boxer, so he's throwing it from a little bit of a different stance. So it's not something the MMA fighters used to see.
Man, these guys have some shins on them. Huge shots being landed on both sides. Nice hook. Good series of punches by him there. He certainly had no trouble finding the range.
He is finding the target with everything he throws, mixing it up with it.
Well, he is really seeing things well offensively here tonight, and he's got great deception to land the flying knee.
The same people who were calling him the best welterweight in the world after he knocked out Usman are now being
working out of that southpaw stance. Oh, gets the single leg takedown. Pretty good velocity on that one. Oh, nicely done there as he escapes back to his feet. And now some distance as they pull apart.
You know what this reminds me of?
Just misses with the right.
When Pettis first entered the UFC after the WEC got out, people were excited to see his striking style against the best.
Oh, that jab alerted his opponent.
He's got to start kicking the body, kicking the head. He's got to start kicking. Oh, separation with clinch. That was a nice takedown, yes.
Both fighters back to their feet now. Under 2 minutes now to go in round one.
These ones are just fighting in front of each other, just kind of going at it.
This is a nearly one-to-one comparison to Leon's UFC career up to now. In Leon's UFC
that was a big check.
Silva, and then just a couple of fights later, he would wrestle fuck Usman. Then Leon goes in beaten for a while, where he wins the welterweight title along the way. He defends his title twice until the
oh, nice takedown defense.
Money, and then in his very next fight, he gets steamrolled by Brady. He just copied and pasted.
That left hook landed on the button.
Easier to beat Leon Edwards.
Right, so a swing and a miss there, and largely due to fatigue. His stamina is low, and he's got to figure out a way to conserve some energy if he's going to have any success later in this fight. Stuff the takedown, no problem. Right now, a little separation between the two fighters.
And let's be real here, the only reason Leon became champion in the first place...
Under a minute to go. Oh, Nice combination there. He is just killing him with volume.
Jab, right hand, body shot. I mean, kick.
He was getting absolutely out against Kamaru. Let's be real here. The only reason Liam became champion in the first place was because of that head kick against Kamaru. Don't get me wrong, it was a great moment, one of the most iconic knockouts in UFC history. But let's not pretend like Leon was dominating the fight before the knockout. In fact, he was getting absolutely outclassed. Usman was controlling him.
What a masterful show of different techniques and ability to throw a combination.
And now leather being thrown on both sides.
In hindsight, if Kamaru didn't get overconfident
Well, not good body language from his opponent here, DC. He's curled up.
No, he's exhausted. He's been beaten.
Gamebred gets back up again. Nicely done. Going to the knee strike now. 15 seconds. Also, there's the horn at the end of the round. He got knocked down near the end of it, saved by the bell. He will live to fight on. Well, he had a lot more than a puncher's chance. Second round underway. Oh, nice job to land the front kick there by Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Doubling up on the jab. Unable to connect with the right hand there.
Oh my goodness, what a kick! He went high on that. Nice level change. Secures the takedown.
Making all these shots count. Oh, and he escapes up to his feet. Very nice.
Now some separation from his clutch position. That jab lands.
Big knee lands there. Masvidal's pretty swollen now in that jaw area. It doesn't appear to be affecting him all that much, but he's absorbed a lot of strikes to the head. Right to the target. Let's see if his opponent can survive.
I cannot believe he's still standing after taking that punch. Nice defense.
Well, you got to think he might be trying to set up that overhand again. He's found a home for it all night long. Let's see if that holds true. Masvidal's real flow here, sticking and moving. Crowd is like just reacting every time he moves.
Masvidal now has the crowd eating out of his hands. The one thing about Jorge that makes him so difficult to deal with,
I was actually just about to go to bed.
is he never allows you to trap him. When you think you got him trapped to try to get for a takedown, he evades and
Hope you had a
escapes.
good Mother's Day.
Phenomenal fighter.
It was a pretty
And now
beautiful
Masvidal's
day here in
nose is bleeding now.
Massachusetts,
Yes,
so
looks as though he got cut by one of those offerings from his opponent.
it was just a nice overall
That hook was
vibe
nasty.
of a day.
Oh!
Under 3 minutes to go here in round two.
Read some books for school.
Flipped him with the jab. Well, you know this is the hurt business, and both guys are compromised at this stage of the fight.
Yeah, both guys are compromised. Both guys have been beat up. Both guys have done a great job of landing, recognizing what they wanted to get done, and it's showing. This is a very evenly matched fight.
Well, a really good second round for him thus far. After a somewhat lackluster first round, he has found the rhythm and found his striking range. Scary proposition for the opponent now here in round two. Well, I think I can smell the blood at this point in time. That canvas didn't look like that a few fights ago. Blood is flowing from that cut with every passing strike.
Every strike. And it burns. John, it burns so bad. When you get cut like that, every time a shot lands, it just burns. So this guy needs to try to find a way to not take and limit the damage he's taking to this cut. Easier said than done, though.
Hard shots landing on both sides here. This pace is just absurd, and he has kept it up throughout the fight. Shades of Max Holloway against Calvin Kattar, punches and punches.
I mean, being there, watching Max Holloway do what he did, was super impressive. So to even list this performance alongside that tells you how this guy is fighting tonight.
Oh, a violent strike to the body. This could be the end, DC.
I mean, this fight is close to being stopped. That was a massive shot to the body.
Unable to connect there. And now Masvidal's blocking well now. Nice job to protect that already damaged nose as he raises the guard. And there it is again, targeting that swelling. Why would you not, right? You doled out all this damage, might as well go right back to it.
He's hurting bad here. Back and forth we go. These two guys are trading huge shots. Wow, what a fight!
Well, no denying that he rocked him, but couldn't quite get the finish.
He hurt him real bad, but he couldn't find the shot that would put him to sleep. He threw a lot of punches, but he couldn't get the one to land on the button that would end the night.
Oh, man, that cut on his lip is not getting any better. The mouth wide open. Not a good look for him here. Seconds winding down in round two. Oh, stuffs the takedown without issue. So he lands a combination of knees here in the clinch. All of those going right to the body. Got to do something defensively here. This could be
You got to protect the midsection. You got to get the hand down across the body so that knee is not landing clean. You better be aware.
All right, there's the end of the round, and hopefully not the end of the fight. He doesn't look as handsome as he did when he walked out. That is a severe gash on his face.
Not a very smart move, because ever since getting himself fired immediately after UFC 304,
here we go, third round of this championship fight. Well, he hasn't really showed any signs of slowing down tonight. He continues to connect on a high volume of strikes here. Oh, he landed a flying knee there.
So let's go over the timeline of events really quickly. So
we have the best cut men and women in the business, and they are going to have some work to do if we get back to the stools. This thing is nasty.
It's nasty. I mean, it's hard to watch this guy rely on the toughness, knowing that his opponent will not relent. His opponent will not give him any breathing room. The guy's going to continue to attack his cut, and if you keep getting worse at this rate, this fight's going to stop.
Oh, left hook to the head, it's blocked.
Allegedly assaulted Muhammad at the UFC.
Oh, nice flip to avoid that right here. So the blood really starts to flow every time that area gets targeted. That cut's getting worse.
It's getting worse and worse, and you see the blood starting to come down. That is when you start to watch the fighter to see what type of effect it's starting to take on him. Whether or not he's confused by where it's at. You gotta start to watch his reactions now as we go forward.
Oh, looking to land the leg kick. That one checked. All right, so it has been punches and strikes in bunches tonight his opponent is wearing it. And when you see swelling like that, maybe a facial fracture.
What seems as though something...
Straight punches we've seen all night.
Huge straight punch lands, and he's got it hurt very bad.
Even going as far as say that he was on one of the lowest
missed with that right hand. Just over 3 minutes to go in round 3.
Lastly, during the ceremony,
Masvidal's body really
they couldn't wait another 24 hours to punch each other in the face. All of this to say, Muhammad and Manel did a really good job at
just misses with the jab there.
But as we all know by now, despite all of the bad blood, these guys were not ready to stay out of business. The fight was a very disappointment, and I think that I can speak for all UFC fans that were following this saga that we felt stupid for believing Muhammad was actually capable of putting on that exciting show in Hong. And as we all know by now, in response to the disappointing fight, Dana White casually announced during the UFC 304 press conference that Muhammad had been released from the UFC.
Here once more, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 13 seconds of the third round, declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, Jorge
because it's pretty laughable to me that these two jokers were so willing to literally assault each other outside.
All right, you heard it there from Bruce Buffer. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, your winner by knockout. His bankroll's already pretty fat. Not getting thinner after a big knockout like that tonight.
Well, when you commit to your strikes in the way that Gamebred commits to his strikes, and also you have the technique that matches it, these are the types of results you get. Once again, dude gets a knockout victory, and people always love Street Jesus. You win like that, people start to applaud you.
What's that song? Welcome to Miami.
PFL is going to get a great undefeated guy, seeing as the PFL is the second biggest MMA promotion, so it kind of just feels like a natural path for Muhammad to take now that he's fired from the UFC. However, lo and behold, some bombshell leaks were revealed the Monday after UFC 304 that suggested that Muhammad and his team engaged in negotiations with the PFL while he was still under contract with the UFC. And from what I understand, this is a really big no-no, and if proven to be true, the UFC would be well within their rights to take legal action against Muhammad for breach of contract. But luckily for Muhammad, it seems like these PFL contract negotiation rumors turned out to be untrue, because during all of this drama, MMA reporter James Lynch stepped in and made a video defending Muhammad and explained that even though Muhammad has been a problematic employee for the UFC, there was never any illegal communications between Muhammad and the PFL. And personally, yeah, I do believe James here. The guy has been a respected reporter for years now, and the fact that he stood up for Muhammad when he really didn't have to makes me believe that those leaks were false. Anyways, the story doesn't end here, because in the last few days, other UFC fighters have come forward to speak out about Muhammad getting cut from the promotion. The first one is Gilbert Burns, of all people, kind of random. In a YouTube video that he uploaded to his channel, Gilbert claims that Muhammad was fired from the UFC because after Muhammad's win over Alex Perez, he was offered a title shot against Alessandro Pantoja at UFC 301. And apparently, Muhammad declined the title offer and instead called out Brandon Royval on Twitter 3 days later. Gilbert has also subtly hinted that Muhammad is not a pleasant guy to be around and that Muhammad did not interact well with the UFC staff, but just hold on to that thought for now. Like, who knows how accurate Gilbert's claims truly are, but I definitely think that he might be onto something here. Because after his fight against Alex Perez, Muhammad did in fact call out Brandon Royval on Twitter. Then, 2 weeks later, after Steve Erceg was announced to be fighting for the title, Muhammad said in an interview that the UFC can delay but cannot deny his destiny. And even though Muhammad has never confirmed that the UFC actually offered him the title shot like Gilbert claims they did, his reaction to Steve Erceg getting the title shot is really stupid to me. Because how can he act so baffled that Steve got the title shot when Muhammad was out here publicly calling out Brandon Royval for his next fight? Like, dude, if you're going to act as butthurt over not getting the next title shot, then maybe you should have actually called out the champion Alessandro Pantoja to be your next fight instead of asking to fight the guy that Pantoja has already beaten twice. Now, not only did Gilbert call out Muhammad's behavior that led to him getting fired, but Steve Erceg himself also added to the pile just 2 days ago. Remember how I said that Gilbert subtly implied that Muhammad was a hard guy to work with towards UFC staff members? Well, Steve Erceg doubles down on this claim, saying that he personally saw Muhammad's disrespectful behavior towards the UFC crew, and he even said that Muhammad has a sense of entitlement about him. The way he treats people, I don't know, fans get to see it, but I don't know, it just seems like he's a little entitled and he's very important. I don't particularly like, and obviously the UFC doesn't like. He grows from here and learns a lesson.
Is that stuff that you've seen, or just stuff you've heard about how he treats people? Is that something that's sort of like common knowledge amongst the fighters in your division?
I don't know if common knowledge. I saw it when I fought in St. Carlos and just the way he treated me, nutrition plan and that sort of thing in the UFC. And just like little things that's like disrespectful, but yeah, I thought it was odd, but Okay, so it's pretty apparent that other UFC fighters have noticed or at least heard of the rumors that Muhammad is a diva and difficult to work with. But what if I told you that even the PFL has gotten wind of Muhammad's disrespectful behavior, and because of that, they've outright announced that they have no interest in signing him? Because on August 3rd, during a press conference, the president of the PFL, Ray Sefo, told the media that they're not interested in Muhammad because they've heard that he's a pain in the ass to deal with.
No, actually, no, he's I've spoken to people that was in the know, and apparently he's the thing he has to deal with, and so no, we're not interested.
And I gotta say, in this whole saga of crazy twists and turns and revelations, this, in my opinion, is by far the craziest part of the story. Like, do you know how much of a shitty employee someone has to be in order for the PFL to say that they don't want you fighting for them? Like, the PFL is like the Netflix content approval team. They will literally accept anything.
Netflix, you're greenlit. Who am I speaking with?
Like the PFL is like a $50 hooker. They won't say no to anybody. So the fact that the PFL is outright refusing to even consider signing Muhammad really says a lot about this guy's reputation and the antics that he pulls as an employee. Guys, Muhammad Makayev is a talented, undefeated 23-year-old kid that's not even close to his all of that, PFL is giving him a hard pass because how much of a liability he was. And obviously, if the PFL is willing to turn him down, I feel like there's a real likelihood that other promotions such as ONE FC, KSW, and Ryzen might also look at Muhammad's reputation and decide that when it comes to a fighter like him, and I'm not gonna lie, I think the fact that the PFL denied Muhammad as publicly as they did might have scared him a little bit. Because just yesterday, MMA Junkie uploaded an interview with Muhammad, and in the interview, he literally begs to be re-signed with the UFC. And get this, he even offers to fight for free to pay back the UFC for all of the trouble that he's caused them.
Of course, I said to Hunter Campbell, I said, what about them? I don't want to, I'm ready to take a lot. And the next fight, we need to for pay. I think it's unprofessional, but it's something that was in my heart for a long time. I did rid of it. And, and I want to come back to see it. And hopefully I will be back.
Yeah, obviously, this is a bit of a Hail Mary. I mean, Hail Mary from the to try and get his job back. And even though this isn't the first time that he's asked for the UFC to reinstate him back to the roster, it's definitely the most desperate play that he's had. And even though I can kind of respect his persistence, the fact that Muhammad is now on to fight for free is hilarious to me. Seeing us heading into his fight with Manel Kape, he made public complaints about how willing he was getting through on his contract. I don't know what to make of all of this, but I will say that I find all of this drama very fun to follow. And although it makes me sound like a bad person, I'm not enjoying Muhammad trying to drive his way back to the game. He's giving Dana and Hunter Campbell more than enough reasons to get rid of him. Muhammad is going to be way more trouble than he's worth. Whether you can be a world fighter that cares about to start balls on the hotel's property, making him a really to people complaining about how much he gets paid to the media, I really don't blame Dana for being fed up with this. And for someone who claims that being a UFC champion is their life's work, he's doing a really good job at ruining his own dreams here. Regardless of all of this, is it not a bit hilarious how much more fun it is to play on the game outside of the octagon than it is to actually watch him fight? Like, if Muhammad was not as interesting inside the cage than he is outside of it, then he might actually be a star. But at the very least, he would still be in the UFC. It does performances in the octagon as interesting as watching Kate drive, but his antics and theatrics outside of the cage are as captivating as it gets. Like, seriously, when's the last time that a UFC fighter sabotaged their own career so spectacularly, only to be begging Dana for his job back and to fight for free less than 2 weeks later? And let's be real here, we have made Dana enough that there's a 0% chance that Muhammad ever gets re-signed to the UFC.
Sir, I'm writing
This guy, a boring fighter,
and issuing you a citation for improper use of
difficult person to work with. Seeing us through so many problems that is disrespectful to the UFC staff.
You're not supposed to
And just
finish by
to be honest here, as much as I respect Muhammad as a fighter, I
that's
really
what you're what?
see. Like, sure,
Sir, I'm writing
antics are fun and all,
and
but
issuing you
boring fighter in the ring that I really just can't feel that sad to see him go. Because even though I can say that this guy seems to not be the brightest bulb in the box, or that he seems to be a master in self-sabotaging himself, I'll say this instead. The kid is totally reserved, and much like many other 23-year-olds, he doesn't really seem to be all that good at thinking more than one step ahead. And much like many other 23-year-old pro athletes, he's
You're not. You see where that came?
he seems to have
Leave any space at all.
problem, which
If it was rotated, hey, that's not like that.
but it's like
No.
no self-awareness. Lack of self-awareness led him to drastically overplaying his position with the UFC, and after flying too close to the sun one too many times, he's now begging Dana to let him fight for free. I would say that that's sad, and it is, but I can't help but feel like this was an easily avoidable outcome for Muhammad that he allowed to happen due to his hubris and stupidity. Because when you're a UFC fighter, you're boring, you're allowed to be problematic, but you're not allowed to be both. And Muhammad is one of those very rare fighters throughout UFC history that's a pain in the ass to work with, while also being a guaranteed boring fighter every single time he steps into the ring. And in the context of UFC 304, if Muhammad followed up all of the drama and bad blood with an exciting performance, Dana and Hunter probably would have been willing to let him away. But instead, during the fight week, Muhammad started a brawl on personal property, complained about his pay to the media, and was presumably a pain in the ass to the UFC crew who were just there to help. Muhammad followed up all of these shenanigans just to have a 3-round staring contest with him. So yeah, I really don't think that Muhammad is the smartest guy on the block. I still know that it is what's going to happen to Muhammad. And even though I don't think it's all that likely Muhammad has been signed with the UFC, I will say this: if Muhammad doesn't learn from his experience and become more humble, self-aware, and professional, it doesn't matter where he ends up because he'll probably learn. Anyways, if you're watching this video, definitely let me know your thoughts on why things Muhammad. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
My definitely mistreated the women he's worked with, and that's why he was fired. So obviously, and he didn't want to find you or something like that. But then you got the people, the things from the relation world that are going to say, remember every single time shit you've done. That's fucking annoying. So Dan Hardy is
Years over 20 years
UFC
apart.
fighter turned former UFC commentator and an analyst who, in my opinion, is totally set up to be fired from the UFC by Dana White, and I'll explain why I think this part of this video. But for those of you who don't know Dan, even though I never thought he was the best fighter or anything, he was a great heel for his era, and he should definitely work on me because I used to love to hate this guy when he was competing. Dan Hardy became a commentator for the UFC, and this is where I really grew to love him as an honorary personality. But in my opinion, Dan's crowning contribution to the world of mixed martial arts was his series Inside the Octagon that debuted on the UFC YouTube channel in 2016. I shit you not, I still think that this is the best content that the UFC has ever produced. Dan's ability to break down fights, along with that cool-ass TV thing that they had that let him draw the arrows and the circles, was so much fun to watch, and I learned so much about how fighters fight from the show. Alright, so where did things go wrong? Why was Dan fired? And why has Dana White taken every opportunity to drag his name through the mud since? Well, the first incident that put Dan in hot water with the UFC is very famous. If you're watching this video, you already know exactly what happened here. In July of 2020, during the finishing sequence of Francisco Trinaldo versus Jai Herbert, Herb Dean had one of his famous moments of bizarre indecision, and instead of stopping the fight when Herbert was clearly knocked out, he encouraged Trinaldo to keep fighting. You can clearly see that Trinaldo didn't want to hit Herbert anymore, and only started punching his lifeless corpse when Dean said that the fight was over. This is a terrible moment in the history of MMA reffing. I would seriously put it out there as amongst one of the worst referee stoppages of all time, and both Dan Hardy and Paul Felder immediately started yelling at Herb, urging him to stop the fight. It's not always It's not always You can even hear Dan and Paul mention something along the lines that this is his second time that night that Herbert stopped the fight. And it's true, because as bad as this stoppage was, Herbert actually had another terrible stoppage earlier that same night when Tanner Bozer had to beat Rafael Pessoa within an inch of his life in order for him to step in. And in the Bozer versus Pessoa fight, you can clearly hear Paul Felder immediately pleading to Herb from the commentary group to put a stop to the fight. Oh my God, you all right? So what I'm saying is, on this night, Herb put up a legendarily bad showing as a UFC referee whose job it is to protect the fighter's health and safety, and he did such a poor job that evening that two of the commentators couldn't help but voice how terrible he was feeling. And especially after Herb's bonehead decision with the Trinaldo versus Herbert stoppage, I can see why both Hardy and Felder lost their patience with this one. Immediately after Herb stepped down from Octagon following Trinaldo versus Herbert, a very famous clip was born showing Dan and Herb in a heated argument, obviously getting into it over how Herb handled the stoppage. This is where things start to become messy, because according to Dan White, Dan approached Herb and started yelling at him and said that Dan's behavior was disgraceful and publicly warned all UFC commentators that getting up in a ref's face will get you fired.
If you vote for him and you approach a judge or a referee or any type of official, I will fire you. If you work for me at any capacity and you approach a referee or judge or an official, I will fire you that night on the spot. That can never happen here under the.
But the thing is, Dan's side of the story is that Herb was the one that approached him, and it was Herb that started the argument. And of course, this becomes a he said situation, but I definitely feel like I believe Dan's side of the story. Seeing as in the video clip, you can clearly see Dan standing right at his desk with his empty chair right next to him. Not only that, Dan has explained in detail about how the situation went down, and in true Dan Hardy fashion, even draws out the sequence of events to show that Herb was the one who got up in his place and not the other way around.
Put it into context, and I'm never going to fucking talk about this again since so stupid. I'm down at the bottom here. The guys at Stone was filming from that direction. Herb's announced the winner. He's come out of the door, which is there, and he's gone down the steps. His seat's over here. Dana, if you're watching, pay attention. He came around and stood in front of my desk and put his fucking finger over my desk and he was complaining.
Okay, but why would Dana lie about this? I mean, Dana isn't really known for being a truthful and honest person anyway, but why would he try to paint the situation so that Dana was the aggressor? Well, according to a video that Hardy posted to his YouTube channel, he was told prior to all of this happening that Dana wasn't a fan of the accents of the British commentators and found them hard to understand, and according to Dan, this was why Dana was looking for a way to push him out of the UFC.
I was told that they were open meetings or not that I would say that Dana wasn't keen on the British broadcasting scene. Many people can't understand what they're saying. I also know he wasn't keen on the British broadcasting scene generally because it's not his taste. And this is Dana's show, so everything that goes on is turned to Dana's taste. So I already knew I'm kind of like, maybe not.
Do I believe this entirely? I'm not too sure. I mean, Dana can be a really petty person, but to get rid of Dana, he was putting so much work for the UFC solely over something as superficial as his British accent kind of seems excessive even for Dana's standards. However, something that Dan also mentions in this video is that he didn't really fit Dana within the company and he wasn't everybody with the UFC executives. Dan brings up an incident where he walked in on a conversation where some UFC head honchos were rating the hotness of female fighters and trying to reel him into it.
I remember one of my last nights I worked, I was sitting around a table with a bunch of people that were all, matchmaking and executives and stuff, and they were talking about female fighters in the industry, how they rate them, how they score them amongst one another, not for any technical or athletic or MMA endeavor, just basically purely based on how they looked. The ring I looked like this, and then you'll stop. What's your friend this point? So I go, don't matter. He's a good looking dude. He's got good cheekbones, model features. I'm like, he's a good looking dude. We need to play with that. This is kind of you. And I just felt like I just reflected, like, get back up. What they were saying, just tread back a lot. I understand the conversation.
Now, this is where I definitely see the root of the problem, and I have a much easier time believing that Dana and his boys wanted Dan gone because they thought he wasn't a company man and perhaps just a general square. And honestly, just thinking back to some previous commentators that the UFC has released in the past, namely Jimmy Smith and Robin Black, I can definitely see how those two guys might not have fit in when it comes to the corporate environment of the UFC and they let go over it. I mean, Jimmy Smith was definitely more corporate than Robin, but he was a pretty bullshit owner
very respect sort of guy who bowed every time he stepped in and out of the octagon to do interviews. And then Robin Wright, for sure, was a bit of a square peg in a round hole who never really felt like a good fit in the UFC, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I like Robin, and I think he's pretty good at what he does, but come on, he was just way too flamboyant and eccentric, even when he was on camera, so it makes sense to me why the UFC got rid of him. So with all this being said, even though I do believe that Dan says that Dana didn't love his British accent or whatever, I do get the feeling that Dan's punk rock, rebel, anti-establishment personality is probably the real reason why Dana imposed on him in the picture. And according to Dan, the UFC promised him that they couldn't fire him over getting into an argument with Herb Dean in and of itself, but it was a good fight, and in hindsight, this is also that they were looking for another opportunity down the line to get rid of him. And unfortunately for Dan, he went to UFC executive because they waited within 6 months after the Herb Dean incident on January 17th, 2021. Dan, by all accounts, got into another heated argument, this time with a female employee who has worked at the UFC for years. Dan has said that he's worked with this woman for over a decade, both while he was a fighter and as a commentator slash analyst. And apparently, this mysterious, nameless woman is in charge of setting up media opportunities for UFC fighters. And in Dan's own words, she was never good at her job. And he's heard several different people complain about her work performance, but no one's ever said anything publicly for was in the press conference.
He was a colleague of mine, but I know her and knew her. And I made several complaints about the fact that she was just not very good at her job. Like she was lazy. She would not connect fighters with the media. I got so many complaints about it, and I still, to this day, I'm constantly hearing about it and how restrictive and difficult it is to work with. I'm not making this up. Like, people know this. There are a lot of people listening right now who know exactly who this person is, and they could vouch for me, but no one can vouch for me.
Anyways, Dan's side of the story of the incident goes as follows. On January 17th, 2021, Dan was unexpectedly pulled from his regular UFC 257 promotional media duties and was sidelined to being a radio broadcaster for the event instead. If I were in Dan's shoes, I'd definitely take this as a slap in the face, and when he asked his female employee why the change was made, she apparently couldn't give him a straight answer as to why he was effectively demoted, and that's when the argument started. After the argument ends, Dan and the female employee go their separate ways, with Dan going into fighter meetings to conduct interviews. Once the fighter meeting ends, he immediately gets a phone call from the UFC executive who informs him that he had been relieved of all of his duties and would booked him on a flight back home that same night. Dan then says on January 28th, he had a phone call with the head of UFC's HR department that lasted all of 10 minutes, and then on February 18th, he was notified that he was officially fired from the UFC entirely. Then, on March 8th, 2018, which was International Women's Day, the news broke out that Dan had been fired by having, quote, an incident with a female employee. Dan claims that this entire sequence was carefully planned and orchestrated by the UFC so that this news of him having an incident with a lady would make it seem like he was accused of sexual misconduct and would drop on International Women's Day no less. Hardy also mentioned that he sent an apology email to the female employee after the argument for letting his temper get the best of him, but he also brings up a very interesting tidbit of information that further backs up the idea that the UFC might have pushed him out.
I did apologize. I sent an email to apologize. I wasn't a great version of myself. I was frustrated. I had also complained 3 times to 2 different people in the organization, which we disconnected from work.
So you're telling me that Dylan made 3 separate complaints about this person over her not doing her job properly and no one ever looked into it? Like, guys, I work a corporate job myself, and if someone that I work with complains about their job performance 3 times, I want to make sure that I at least have some sort of conversation with either a manager or human resources, letting me know that people aren't doing what they're doing. But on the flip side, Dylan gets into one heated argument with this person because she can't explain to him why he was demoted, which is literally her job to know, and he's fighting it. I don't know what sort of jobs you guys have, but just put myself in Dan's shoes here. I went into work one day and my manager suddenly tells me that I'm going to be doing more menial tasks from now on, and when I ask them what, and they give me a little no, I would be fucking frustrated too. I don't know about you, but to me, this sounds like Dan fell right into the UFC's trap and gave them the reason to fire him that they were looking for. Look, I just want to make it clear here, I did not story just inside an argument with this lady, especially in the workplace. Honestly, the fact that she's a really is kind of incidental because you can't ignore that people that we love are, but at the same time, I definitely understand why this guy was upset. The fact that this lady who's in charge of UFC media obligations couldn't tell him why he was removed from his UFC media obligations, that's not really now, a lot of you guys might be asking, should we really be taking Dan's words at face value over Dana in the UFCs? And of course, you're entitled to your opinion on this, but yeah, I do believe Dan's account of the situation over Dana and UFCs. First of all, I don't view Dan as a liar. He's a lot of things, and he's also not a lot of things, but he just doesn't strike me as dishonest. In fact, it's pretty clear to me that the reason why Dan was fired is that he can't help but say what's on his mind, even if it's in his own best interest to keep his mouth shut and just play the workplace politics game. Not only that, Dana does seem to be outright lying about the whole Dan got up and Herb Dean's face narrative after the Trinaldo Herbert stoppage, and even though Dan was totally in the wrong for yelling at that UFC employee lady, I just can't help but feel like they set him up to lose his cool and it worked. And look, to be fair to Dana here, it really does seem like Dan doesn't mesh well in the corporate setting like the UFC. Sure, he was great at his job, but we all know Dana, he only wants company men working for him. That's why I feel like Paul Felder and Daniel Cormier seem to be in the good graces of Gary White, Hoover Campbell, and the other UFC executives because they're willing to and know how to play the game of workplace politics. And at the end of the day, I feel like Cody just has too much of a fighter's personality to really thrive in a major corporation like the UFC. And honestly, I can really see how he maybe openly showed disdain for the white collar phoniness that's needed to work at a major company and not rub people the wrong way. My point here being, as good as Dan was at his job, and I think it was great, in a massive company like the UFC, sometimes being a good culture fit is more important than job performance. And seeing as Dan is all about like punk rock, psychedelics, free spirit sort of stuff, it really makes sense to me why he felt like he didn't fit in with it. So yeah, if Dana and the UFC actually set Dan up to get fired, which I do think is the case, it's not hard at all for me to understand why they wanted him on. It's not like you can fire somebody from a corporate setting for not fitting in with the vibes, but you can fire someone if you engineer and manipulate situations to paint somebody as a hostile employee, and I really think that's what happened here with Hardy and the UFC. Alright, that's the video for today. Definitely let me know what you think about Dan Hardy getting ousted from the UFC. Do you think that he walked right into the UFC? And you want to see Dave Swan's recognition presence at the UFC public program. As always, if you like the video, then like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. It's pretty clear to me that the wasn't just like this. Has done absolutely nothing in over 30 years of business to either reduce cheating or dole out heavier punishments for fighters who consistently break the rules. And yeah, in this video, we're going to be talking about all this and more. But first, let's talk about Pop versus Almabayev. Guys, don't get me wrong here. I never really thought.
Nos daremos. Este es el.
Regardless, the fact that this fight was so riddled with clear fouls where both guys were hitting each other with illegal shots just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. In the first round, Almabayev poked Kopp in the eye with about 2 minutes left on the clock. Then about a minute later, Kopp takes a knee to the balls. Then in the second round, with about 30 seconds left on the clock, Almabayev complains about getting poked in the eye after separating from an exchange. Kopp objects that it was a punch. The fight is paused.
Nikki, wait, Nikki. Wait, put your head next to it. Let's see whose head's bigger.
This reception good to you. Now in the second half. Kick to the body, but quickly out there. Stung it right now. Right field. Look.
The funny thing was secret was another very obvious joke across the eye, but this one was actually really simple. And then immediately after this, I feel the world had such as my but at the very last minute, he then opened the chance and was clear that it could go to the final buy. This guy tried to steal his powers to the airport as a legitimate fund all the way up until the very last minute. Either way, that's something like this would happen.
This reception good to you. Now in the second half. Kick to the body, but quickly out there. Stung it right now.
I have a really hard time believing that I'll just thought if we were in this kind of well, but the main top also clearly reacted to the occupiers of the massive crown and see ridiculous on stories too. And of course, even though the icons could clearly be seen in the video replay that they showed after the fight was stopped, none of the officials actually cared. Because the fight had already been called off, and doing their due diligence is an inconvenience. Why actually officiate during your job as an official when you can instead go home and watch TV? You know, something that UFC fans used to say that I hated hearing is, oh, we don't believe the hardest job in the octagon, as if we aren't walking through the right kind of physically incapacitating each other right on camera. We haven't heard anybody say this in a while because thankfully people have finally wisened up to the fact that almost all of the UFC's refs are just not that good at their jobs and don't enforce the rules half as much as they should. And in the case of Mike Beltran and whoever the ringside referee was for this fight, you can't completely get the ball, which isn't all that much of a surprise, yet I still hear myself being disappointed in the level of negligence consistently displayed by these officials. I guess that it's easy to put all the blame on Mike Beltran because he was the man wrecking the fight itself, but I really feel like most of the officiating fuck-ups need to be found with ringside referee. He is the guy who reviewed the very first eye poke and deemed it a clean shot somehow. And in reality, he also should have stepped in and told Mike Beltran that the ending sequence of the fight stemmed from a double eye poke. But like I said, these guys just don't have any real intention of doing their jobs properly. But honestly, I think that the sport deserves officials with actual balls who can make the tough decisions to enforce the rules instead of shrugging their shoulders whenever a foul takes place. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying that Dana and the UFC also play a big role in cheating not being punished. People online have been claiming that officials are too afraid to actually do their job because if they interfere too much in a way that Dana doesn't like, then they risk getting blacklisted from working in the promotion. And the thing is, I kind of see where these people are coming from. Obviously, Dana runs the UFC with an iron fist, and we've seen him get really tough for these are sometimes seem pretty scary. It's been like that. It's been all of a sudden, all of that. It's been probably really too much. When it's just like the thing that we're doing, that we have, yeah, no, they're actually well, maybe just like answer that, right? He's also known for doing Bones is known for taking his returns from the game. The trying to play off one of the and this is kind of took some time with the and because it's like the bulk of the bulk of the game cost. Something that just happened in the UFC that you all guys are getting.
That lady, she was a hella too. What's this versus
and now only the UFC referees worst kind of regular suggestions. So you see what I'm trying to say here. Will change when it comes to UFC instead of UFC actually starts least throughout the history of the company. But I do know that by not enforcing stricter punishments and by defending the image of fighters who repeatedly cheat, then Dana is quite literally encouraging other fighters to break the rules. Like, let's not forget here that this is the same exact company that refuses to use training. What makes laws are just to keep the fighters free and so when it comes to the UFC, fighters have noted that the deciding advice which is the driving force behind why there is so many fights in the UFC. So I'm in a position.